Yeah, this is a special show. It's a very, very special show. Very special show. God, it feels like I just took a time machine back to like the early 2000s when we had this point in which we were just getting nothing but harem-esque school shows full of ecchi and just downright dumb. Just downright dumb. In a good way. If that's what you're looking for, it's in a good way. And I honestly feel a little bit nostalgic to these old dumb harem ecchi shows that we just honestly don't get enough of anymore. But yes, Love Flops or Renai Flops is a special show, and I just watched the first episode of it, and this is my thoughts on it. Love Flops opens up in a semi-future Japan. We have a little bit more advanced technology in this world, and we have Asahi Kashiwagi, who wakes up to his alarm clock robot AI thing that's basically criticizing him for not waking up in time. And as he's getting ready for school, he eventually sees this broadcast on television. He immediately goes, I don't remember them having this AI fortune-telling segment on television, but he watches it, and sure enough, the date in which they are applying this fortune to is his birthday. And it gives like a whole bunch of these very specific lucky words. Corner, train, staircase, cleaning robot, dog, and letter. So these are the words that he should be looking out for during the day. And so he, thinking that he's going to be late, quickly rushes off. Well, actually his little AI robot tells him to leave because he's going to be late, and it tells him to go early. So it kind of implies that this AI robot knows that he's going to be late to these key words. At least that's what I'm getting. I'm going to assume that this AI robot's probably what created this broadcast. But yes, Asahi rushes off to school as he's going down towards this corner. Yes, sure enough, we have the trope girl with toast in her mouth rushing up to the corner and slams into him. And yes, somehow they managed to, I don't know, place themselves in a very compromising way with her crotch towards his face. And she quickly covers it up, says that she's embarrassed because she's not wearing anything attractive right now. She quickly apologizes and then leaves, and he realizes that she dropped a napkin. And that's when he gets onto the train system, and it's completely empty. Like, this train is completely without anybody else. And so he sits down, he's relaxing, and then this one lady comes rushing into the train at the last minute and sits down right next to him with this empty train. And yes, this lady just immediately falls asleep, grabs onto him, and is kind of cuddling up next to him, eventually tries to get away, and she falls on top. Well, no, he's trying to get away, and she somehow falls, and he ends up on top of her, obviously grabbing her chest. She kind of half wakes up and immediately attacks at him and kicks this pole in and says something defective, "Where's the enemy?" And then he leaves. Well, kind of starting to get a hint that, okay, corner, train, stuff's happening very weirdly to this fortune. He eventually comes to the staircase, which he hesitantly goes down, realizes nothing happened, and then sure enough, this girl comes coming down the stairs, trips, and somehow gets enough air to fly all the way over to him and right into his face with her crotch, because again, dumb ecchi harem show. And to make matters worse, she somehow rotates around and sees right towards his crotch, which has a banana casing inside of his pocket, and she immediately thinks that he is thinking inappropriately of her, and she immediately hits him in the crotch and runs away. He's realizing very quickly more and more that every single one of these keywords is coming to effect, so now he's deathly afraid of any cleaning robots, and then suddenly a cleaning robot comes up to him holding a bra. And this one girl runs up and immediately thinks that he hacked the robot to steal it, and then it tries to steal her skirt, and then she's basically dragged away. Then he comes across a dog. And another dog. And this poor person, very feminine boy, is being attacked by a very large dog. And it is trying to get something out of her. And he immediately just says, I ain't got nothing to do with this, and walks away. And the dog immediately turns to him and tackles him because dog wants to do something to him. Well, he finally makes it to school. He's late. He eventually gets inside the classroom, learns that this lady that he met on the train is now the teacher, and yes, that all of these girls that he's ran into randomly, and this boy, are all a part of his class now, and they're all right next to him, which, yes, as a main protagonist of a harem school anime, is right at the back left corner of the classroom next to the window. And they're all furious, obviously, because they all think that he's a pervert. Which just turns into a conversation with him and one of his friend, some guy that knows him that he doesn't know who he is, but since they recently shuffled class, I guess it makes sense why he doesn't know him. But this guy Yoshino is like the guy that knows all information. So he gives him a full rundown of all these girls and the boy. And we find out that Karen, who was at the stairs, she is from Germany. The girl that got her bra stolen by the robot, she's Amelia, and she's a transfer student from America. The one that got attacked by a dog, that's Ilya. He's apparently from Bulgaria. And the teacher, who he met at the train, she apparently is from China. And we're not questioning why all these students and teachers all transferred on the same exact day. It's a dumb, ecchi harem comedy show, so we're gonna move on. But basically, he's like, which one do you like the most? And Asahi's like, I don't think it matters because they all hate my guts right now. And he's like, well, I guess you should make amends with each one of them. So kind of turns this whole thing where he goes to each one of these girls and they sort of see that it was a misunderstanding or that something, he isn't what they think he is. Except for Aoi. Aoi, he tries to return her napkin and ends up pulling out Amelia's bra. But no, Amelia realized that he just picked it up and that he basically helped her. Karen realized that the thing in his pocket was a banana case and he gives her the banana, so she's happy about him. Ilya he saves her from dogs this time. And the teacher actually apologized to him because she fell asleep in the train. It was her fault. And this all leads to him getting the letter, which is this proposal that he gets inside of his shoebox, and he decides to go to it, and he ends up running into Aoi, who was the girl at the corner, and she's decided that she likes him. And just at the time, he realizes that the thing in his hand is her pantsu, and Lynn gusts her skirt up because why not? That was the scene that we see in the PV, so it was kind of like, yeah, I was waiting for that scene to pop up. And yeah, she went commando because it fell off, apparently, when they bumped into each other. So yeah, that's Love Flop so far. I think the PV kind of insinuates that they'll all go to the same dorm or something, or maybe they'll start living with him. I don't know exactly how it's going to come to be your typical harem in one household thing, but I will say this is pretty refreshing since a long time since we had some sort of dumb, ecchi harem comedy. I honestly, every now and then I like it. I will admit that I was like many people at the time that we got a lot of these types of shows that I got really burnt out on them. And at some point it was like, oh, here's another one. Oh, here's another one. But again, it's been a long time since we've had, I guess technically Mother of Goddess Dormitory was the last one that we've had here recently, but we just don't get them often anymore. It seems like Japan's kind of gotten tired of them and moved away to isekais and stuff. So to get one of these shows back, it's an original series being done by Passione, so it's kind of interesting that it will be an original as well. I think it's the writer Urio Yasumoto who did Steins Gate Zero script work, so don't really know exactly how that's going to tie in with an ecchi harem comedy. Additionally, since he technically did a script for something that was a visual novel, it's not as if they wrote it themselves. But honestly, it'll be interesting. We also have the director that did My Girlfriend is Shobi, Are You Lost, which was absolutely hilarious. So we'll see. They're doing a great job on the visuals so far. Passione is known for doing really good stuff. So so far, this looks really fantastic. The girls look fantastic. I love the character designs. The voice work that's being done so far is really great. There's some of them that it's like I recognize their seiyus, but at the same time, they're kind of side characters. Like specifically Karen, who is one of the girls in Mitsubishi Colors. Very unique, very high-pitched, kind of squeaky-ish voice, but she's super cute so far. But I don't know, see. I think the big telling sign that's going to be for Love Flops is going to be in what they end up doing with this formula. Yes, technically this is something that's been done a million times, but it's always going to be in what they do to really make it stand outside the crowd. And I think what they've done already with this first interaction with all these characters is they're obviously playing off the joke of all these tropes. But I think what will make this show actually still good in the end is if they can take that and do something crazy with it. And I think it's probably going to turn to one of those things where they'll just one-up themselves, do more crazier stuff with each thing. Because like I said, it's technically doing the tropes. It's just doing them in a more absurd way. So I'm welcoming of tropes as long as they can do something clever with it. I think one element they've already kind of established that will add to that flavor is having this more futuristic world. So again, making the joke off the idea of this robot and him hacking it and stealing this girl's bra, that's technically something they can add a little bit extra flavor to it. But I'm curious as to the original concept if that will go into play. Again, I'm kind of already assuming that the AI of his house created this broadcast that was this future prediction. And I'm curious if his little AI system at his house is going to be the one that's going to be messing with him on a daily basis. Will it turn into every morning he wakes up and there is a new fortune and the fortune tells him that something goofy is going to happen and then he's going to want to either avoid it or try to avoid it, but he ends up running into it anyways? That could be a funny little addition to the chemistry. I love the thought that at some point when he runs into Aoi Joey again. They kind of avoid each other at a corner and they kind of joke it off. But then she goes, did I drop something? And he's like, oh, here it is. And he pulls the bra out of his pocket. Like, this dude's got like a bunch of underwear shoved in his pocket that he's just kind of picking up as he's going along his day. And so, yes, when he runs into Amelia again, he's like, oh yeah, there it is right here. I just have it in my pocket. It's like, dude, you just carry this stuff around? Of course, technically the first one he thought was a napkin. It's like, how he thought that was a napkin is beyond me, but it's a goofy series. It had me chuckling here and there. Again, a lot of it's kind of nostalgic to these dumb old harem ecchi shows. Again, I'm really hoping that they do kind of step it up and do some, some new stuff and really refresh the formula. Don't just do the usual things like walk into the restroom and all that kind of crap that we're kind of used to, but take it to another level and do something really goofy with it. I was kind of happy to see that it doesn't seem like it's censored for the high dive release of this. We had one really, really close-up shot of Karen. So I think what they're going to probably do with the series is kind of borderline it. Not censor it, not have it, but kind of be that borderline where it leaves a little bit to the imagination, I guess, and it doesn't have light bars. But we'll see in the coming episodes if they start having light bars and stuff. Anyhow, that's my thoughts on Love Flops. If you think that sounds interesting, definitely check it out. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button down below. Comment, let me know what you thought of the series if you're going to be checking it out. Additionally, if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you get all my content. I do news, reviews, first impressions, top list. If it's anime, it's pretty much here. Additionally, if you want to support the channel more, we have a Patreon link, a tips link, and a super thanks button down below. It's in your fortune. And y'all take care.